In 1965, a vision took root here in Kailua. At that time, Enchanted Lake was still undeveloped swaths of land and pastures. But Reverend Dr. Frank Butterworth, the then Hawaii District Superintendent, could already see what it would one day become, a vibrant, bustling community. He believed that this place, sitting between Kailua and Waimanalo, needed a church that reflected its people, a church that would be open to all, a church that would be a spiritual home for residents of Enchanted Lake. He imagined that sprawling neighborhoods, a shopping center, schools, and churches would one day fill the undeveloped landscape. He also hoped it would be a church for locals and longtime Kailua residents, for the Japanese community living in Wanawili, and the families in neighboring Waimanalo, an area that was underserved and overlooked, even back then. This vision became Keolumana United Methodist Church. Its first pastor, Reverend Dr. Donald Inlay, gathered a small and faithful group of pioneers, families like the Kinos, the Hales, the Igamis, and the Enzais. They met not in the sanctuary, it wasn't built yet, but in the classrooms of Keolu Elementary, a simple, hopeful beginning. From the very start, this church was shaped by people who believed that faith was not something you carried inside, but something you lived out loud. Keolumana has been blessed with many faithful and talented pastors over the years. In the years that follow, the ministries of Reverend Stan Bain and Reverend Sam Domingo would deepen this identity of living your faith out loud. Reverend Bain helped the congregation look outward, laying the groundwork for Keolumana to become a church that cares for its neighbors with compassion and courage. Then came Reverend Sam Domingo, one of the founders of Faith Action for Community Equity. His conviction was simple and bold. If faith is real, it must advocate for the marginalized. Under his leadership, the church secured grants for Beacon of Hope House, became active in Faith Action, started a prison library reading program, among many other programs and initiatives, and strengthened its commitment to stand with those whose voices were too often unheard. After Reverend Sam's tenure, there were a few short-lived tenures in the church. And a few years later, in 2015, Reverend Sione John Fanal brought new life to the church, revitalizing families and youth, reigniting activities and building a sense of joy and belonging that impacted the entire congregation. Then the world changed. When COVID-19 arrived, the uncertainty was real and the challenges were heavy. But even then, especially then, Keolumana remembered who we are. We returned to our identity as a light in the community. We partnered actively with Windward Community College, providing food for students facing hunger during the pandemic, and expanding this work to include hygiene products and other essential needs. With our fellow Methodist Church in Kailua UMC, we launched the Keolu Elementary School Supply Drive. Keolu Elementary, the school right across the street from our church, is a Title I school with limited resources and support. Together, each year, we provide students and teachers with all the supplies that they need for their classrooms, everything ranging from folders, papers, pencils, to vacuum cleaners and book binding machines. In this way, we are able to support a school with limited resources and help. We also partnered with Kailua UMC to raise funds for the Resource Center, an organization that connects with families in need in Kaneohe and Kailua. Together, we did the Angel Tree Project, providing gifts for families facing shelter insecurity. We continue supporting the Susanna Wesley Community Center through diapers, donations, and volunteer work. We continue our support and partnership with Family Promise, preparing family meals and providing essential support for parents and children experiencing housing instability, reminding each family that they are not alone and this community is with them. Whenever a natural disaster hit, locally or globally, this church responded with generosity. Whether it was the wildfires that destroyed huge parts of Lahaina, Maui, the earthquake in Tonga, the LA fires, This church always responded with urgency and generosity. We strengthened our relationship with our Windward Methodist churches, Keolu UMC and Parker UMC, joining together for youth events, worship nights, outreach, and ministry partnerships that continue to shape our witness today. Keolumana continues to be a light in the Enchanted Lake community,